Hey, what's up guys? So we're back with another Star Wars reaction video. If you're new channel, welcome. This one is called Every Single Jedi That Survived Order 66. So shout out to Red5 for providing this video, and credit goes to him. So when it comes to Order 66, as we all know, like the most infamous order in Star Wars that like pretty much wiped out the Jedi, but a handful survived. The most like iconic Jedi that survived Order 66, as we know, is they are Obi-Wan Kenobi, who trained Luke Skywalker afterwards, and Jedi Master Yoda, who also trained Luke Skywalker afterwards. And there's just like a few handful that like survived here and there. You could see them in some of the TV shows, like as you can see in the thumbnail, and I'm looking at them right now, Baylan Skoll, as you saw in the TV show Ahsoka, and I'm pretty sure there were also like more mentioned in like the comics. But basically, I'm just naming off the ones on the thumbnail, and it looks like one of them is Quinlan Vos, and I do remember that he did survive, and he had a thing with Asajj Ventress. But anyways, that and maybe they'll name off a few more that I do not know. I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least like 2 or 3 that I did not know survived the Order, or the Purge, I mean. But anyways, without anything else, let's check out Every Single Jedi that survived Order 66.
Order 66 is perhaps the single most significant event on the entire Star Wars timeline. The Sith's grand plan finally coming to fruition when Darth Sidious uttered 3 iconic words: execute Order 66. The Secret Order identified all Jedi as traitors to the Galactic Republic, and therefore subject to summary execution by the clone troopers. The Order was programmed into the clones at a young age through behavioral inhibitor chips implanted into their minds by the Kaminoan scientists. This made Order 66, along with 149 other clone contingency orders, almost impossible for the clones to disobey, even if they wanted to. The Jedi had no idea the clones, whom they had fought alongside for years, would turn on them in an instant. This, on top of the fact that clones were modeled after notorious Jedi killer and bounty hunter Jango Fett, made Order 66 survivors few and far between. Before Order 66, the Jedi were said to be around 10,000 in numbers, with maybe 100 to 200 surviving the initial purge, while many others would be hunted down within the next few years. So, with plenty of recent additions, let's take a look at the updated list.
Rest in peace, Rey.
This is every single Jedi that survived Order 66.
Alright, let's see who we got.
Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's get the 2 original Order 66 survivors out of the way, Obi-Wan and Yoda. Obi-Wan Kenobi was on Utapau at the time of Order 66, having just killed General Grievous. Clone Commander Cody was issued Order 66 just as Kenobi was traversing up a cliff. Cody instructed an ATTE to fire on the Jedi Master, with Kenobi falling into the waters below and assumed dead. Kenobi would escape the planet and meet with Yoda before delivering an infant Luke Skywalker to his aunt and uncle on Tatooine, where he'd both hide and protect Luke, eventually training the son of Anakin Skywalker. Grand Master Yoda was leading Republic forces as they repelled the droid attack on the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk when Order 66 came down. With such an unmatched connection to the light side of the Force, Yoda was able to feel the shift of balance in the galaxy as the deaths of his fellow Jedi sent shockwaves through the Force. When Clone Commander Gree and Captain Jack snuck up on the Grand Master, Yoda quickly backflipped and decapitated the 2 troopers. The Jedi Grand Master then fled the planet with the help of Chewbacca and Wookiee chieftain Tarful, going into exile on Dagobah, where he'd later be found by Luke Skywalker, who he helped to train before dying of old age. Yoda and Obi-Wan both received training from Qui-Gon Jinn, which allowed them to become one with the Force after their deaths, granting them the ability to appear as Force ghosts. Today's video is sponsored by Onasaber. They sent us over one of their Padawan lightsabers to show you. This one is called Red Web. Onasaber has an incredible deal going on for the month of February. If you add 2 identical Padawan sabers to your cart, you'll receive the second one free. Both must also come equipped with the same soundboard, whether that's the RGB S16 or the SN Pixel V4. And one of your options is this lightsaber, Red Web. This sleek saber features silver, red, black and gold paneling with a web design engraved into the grip. The SN Pixel V4 soundboard features 27 different sound fonts, including Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker, Count Dooku, and many more. The blade can be switched to 12 different colors and 11 different ignition effects. It's also equipped with smooth swing, flash on clash, tip drag, and blaster blocks. If you want to grab Red Web for yourself, head over to onasaber.com/red5.
This is like the third sponsor
the link will be in the
I've seen
description
from Red 5.
and pinned comment. Now, back to the
so
video.
He's doing really well.
Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka was leading the siege of Mandalore alongside Captain Rex and the 332nd Company just before Order 66. While transporting the captured Maul through hyperspace, the order was issued. Rex, who was aware of
the end of
Trooper
Clone
5's
Wars Season
investigation
7
into the biochips, was able to briefly resist the order. Ahsoka employed some specialized techniques taught to her by Anakin Skywalker to evade the blaster fire of the clones. Once she learned of the inhibitor chips, Ahsoka helped Rex to remove his, and the two escaped the crashing Jedi cruiser. Both then faked their own deaths and would later serve in the rebellion alongside the Spectre rebel cell. Re-emerging in the Mandalorian timeline, Ahsoka now finds herself trapped on Peridia with Sabine and Ezra at the conclusion of the first season of her own spin-off series. Baylan Skoll was a Jedi Knight and general in the Grand Army of the Republic when Order 66 was issued. We've yet to learn how exactly he survived the Purge, but we do know he became disillusioned with the Jedi ideals and went on to become a mercenary. Later taking on Shin Hati as his apprentice, he trained her to be something more than a Jedi. Shin was born and trained after Order 66, hence her omission from the list. Caleb Doom. Caleb Doom was the apprentice of Depa Billaba, with his master sacrificing herself and buying Doom enough time to flee.
I always have
from
trouble
the
saying her
clone
name.
troopers.
Depa Billaba.
Doom was able to evade further attempts on his life with the help of the Bad Batch, whose mutations rendered their inhibitor chips ineffective, aside from Crosshair, that is. The young Jedi then went into hiding and changed his name to Kanan Jarrus, eventually joining the Rebel Ghost crew. Kelleran Beck and Grogu. In The Mandalorian Season 2, Ahsoka revealed to us not only Grogu's name, but that he was present at the Jedi Temple during Order 66.
We did see him go away, but you know what I mean.
In the Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian Season 3 finally showed us exactly how. Grogu was initially protected by many Jedi, but was rushed to an elevator that led him to Kelleran Beck. Nicknamed the Sabered Hand, Beck showcased his lightsaber proficiency by taking down several clone troopers. Thanks to the aid of Royal Naboo's security forces, Beck and Grogu were able to flee Coruscant aboard a Naboo yacht. Cal Kestis. Cal Kestis is the protagonist of the Jedi games, Fallen Order and Survivor. Much like Caleb Doom,
both of them phenomenal.
Cal Kestis
I played
was a
it.
young
It's on my channel, so go check them out.
66, with Jaro Tapal serving as his master. Tapal and Kestis were able to evade the 13th Battalion for some time, sabotaging their Jedi cruiser as they made a break for escape pods. Just before they boarded a pod, Tapal was fatally shot before giving Cal his lightsaber, and with his dying words, telling his Padawan to trust only in the Force. The sabotaged Jedi cruiser would explode, and Cal Kestis would conceal his Jedi identity, working as a scrapper on Bracca up until the events of Fallen Order. Quinlan Vos. Quinlan Vos was a maverick among the Jedi Order, garnering a reputation for bending the rules. Vos was included in a deleted Revenge of the Sith Order 66 scene, having been present on Kashyyyk along with Yoda. That scene depicted Vos being brutally murdered by a clone Juggernaut tank. However, thanks to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, we know Vos survived Order 66 and later assisted the Path, a network that helps to smuggle fugitive Jedi after Order 66. We're not sure exactly how Vos survived the initial purge in canon, but in Legends he survived the explosion depicted in the deleted scene and fled into the Kashyyyk jungle before re-emerging to kill the psychotic clone commander Faye, before the trooper could call an airstrike on a nearby Wookiee village. The Kenobi Wall. The wall we just mentioned from the Path safe house in Kenobi also contained a few other name engravings. This includes Rom Koda, Akira, Drake Logan, Valen Halcyon, Jin Altis, Corwin Shelve, Rogonda Ismarin, and Minos Falcona. These Jedi all exist in the Legends continuity.
I only know like 2 of those names.
Luminara Unduli, Like Quinlan Vos, Luminara Unduli was also stationed on Kashyyyk and also featured in a deleted Order 66 scene where she was gunned down by a number of clones on a beach. In Star Wars Rebels, we learn that while Luminara survived the initial events of Order 66, shortly after, she was captured by the Empire and executed. Her body was then used by the Grand Inquisitor to lure other Jedi to their demise. The Inquisitors. Speaking of the Inquisitors, they are all former Jedi and thus Order 66 survivors themselves.
I did not think
the
of that.
Inquisitors were dark agents who reported to Darth Vader, tasked with hunting down Jedi survivors of Order 66. We're working on a video that will go over all of the Inquisitors very soon.
I have that saved.
It hasn't already been posted. Jocasta Nu. Jocasta Nu was the librarian at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant for decades before the Great Jedi Purge.
She was killed in a game, though.
Coruscant and attempted to set up a new Jedi school. Jocasta returned to the temple to recover a holocron, which listed every Force-sensitive child in the galaxy prior to Order 66. But Nu was tracked by Darth Vader and the Inquisitors and was slain by the Sith Lord. Seer Junda. Seer Junda was the master of Trilla Sudari, with the pair surviving the initial execution of Order 66 and attempting to hide several younglings. Eventually, the Master and Padawan were captured and tortured by the Empire, with Trilla cracking and becoming the second Sister Inquisitor. Overflowing with rage and regret, Seer tapped into the dark side and killed everyone in the room before making her escape. Seer then cut herself off from the Force, afraid of falling deeper into the dark side, until she met Cal Kestis and became his new master. Dedicated to restoring the Jedi Order and building her own archive, Seer was eventually killed by Darth Vader in her Jedi cache on Jedha. Eno Cordova. A Jedi researcher and archaeologist, Eno Cordova vanished after exploring the galaxy for the mysterious race known as the
I was
Zepho,
really surprised
surviving
when
Order 66
I saw him in the game.
after having a vision of the Jedi's downfall. He eventually reunited with his former Padawan, Seer Junda, and established an archive on the planet Jedha that operated as a base for the Hidden Path. Cordova was ultimately betrayed and killed by the next entry on our list, Bode Akuna. A former Jedi intelligence officer during the Clone Wars, Bode Akuna fell in love and left the Jedi behind, becoming a mercenary to support his family. Discovered by the Empire, Bode exchanged the safety of himself and his young daughter by becoming an operative for the Imperial Security Bureau. Infiltrating Cal Kestis' rebel group, Akuna eventually revealed himself as an agent of the Empire and a former Jedi when he betrayed Kestis and killed Eno Cordova. However, Kestis and his surviving friends hunted Akuna down and killed him on the mysterious planet known as Tanalorr. Terran Malicos was once a trusted Jedi general during the Clone Wars.
Dude, he is a
After
badass.
he struck down his attacking clone troopers, Malicos crash-landed on Dathomir, home of the mysterious witches known as Night Sisters. There he met Merrin and told her the Jedi were responsible for the genocide of her sisters, when in actuality it was General Grievous. Malicos promised her revenge if she taught him Night Sister magic. When Cal Kestis came to Dathomir and learned of Malicos' deceit, the two dueled until Merrin used her Night Sister magic to entomb Malicos in the ground. Gungi. The Wookiee Jedi Gungi was a youngling introduced in the Clone Wars. We aren't sure how he survived the Purge, but at some point he was captured by the droids of Vanguard Axis, and with the help of the Bad Batch, was returned to Kashyyyk. His fate seems grim, as we know the Wookiees would soon be enslaved by the Empire, making Gungi a likely early target of the Inquisitors. Nari. Nari was a Jedi who survived Order 66 and spent years trying to find a way to fight back against the Empire. His travels eventually took him to Tatooine, while being pursued by the Inquisitors. He unintentionally put both Obi-Wan Kenobi and a young Luke Skywalker at risk. Obi-Wan tried to persuade Nari to abandon being a Jedi, but his intervention came too late, and Nari was killed by the Inquisitors. Theron Bar.
He was left on display.
Bar was a Padawan when Order 66 was issued, and it's unknown how exactly he survived the initial
I read this
events of
comic.
the Purge. Theron managed to learn of Darth Vader's identity and Order 66. With this knowledge, he began recruiting people sympathetic to the Jedi's fall in order to overthrow the Sith's control over the galaxy. He was ultimately slain in single combat by Darth Vader after being discovered on Mon Cala. Eth Koth. A former Jedi Master and Council member, Eth Koth left the Order during the Clone Wars and settled down to have a family. Darth Vader and his Inquisitors arrived moments after the birth of Eth Koth's daughter, and the former Jedi was slain by the Sith Lord. His daughter was kidnapped for Palpatine's Project Harvester, which was designed to turn young Force sensitives into dark side agents. Karok Infilla. Karok Infilla was not an active member of the Jedi Order during Order 66, but rather on some sort of penance. As Order 66 occurred, he felt the deaths of the Jedi the same way Yoda did. On the hunt for a Kyber crystal, Darth Vader tracked Infilla to a Jedi temple on an unnamed moon. The Sith Lord
so that's why he's wielding that weapon instead of a lightsaber,
taking the deceased Jedi's Kyber crystal, bleeding it red, for his new Sith lightsaber. Nok Med. Introduced in the novel Force Collector, Nok Med left the Jedi Order sometime before Order 66 and had a daughter with an unidentified woman. After learning about the Great Jedi Purge and the confrontation with the Grand Inquisitor, Nok Med abandoned his family in order to protect them. Zubain and Kanori. Zubain was first introduced in the mobile game Star Wars Uprising. After somehow surviving Order 66, he was given refuge at a Jedi shrine along with other Jedi. Tragically, all were ultimately slain by the Inquisitors. Darth Vader's List. Oppo Rancisis, Kulmun Kaj, Kamun Koli, and Selrock Ulos were all names on a list of known survivors compiled by the Inquisitors, as shown in the Darth Vader comics. Rancisis and Kaj both served on the Jedi High Council at one point, while little is known about the other two, nor how any of them evaded the Purge. Mil Alabeth and Vivert Stagg. Mil Alabeth and Vivert Stagg were former Jedi initiates at the same time as Anakin Skywalker. However, they both left the Jedi Order during the early Clone Wars and were bounty hunters by the time of the First Order Resistance War. Dagan Gera. Dagan Gera barely makes our list as a technicality, surviving Order 66 because he had actually been kept in suspended animation for hundreds of years, since the days of the High Republic. It's also debatable that he was still a Jedi, even when he went into stasis. But that does it for our breakdown of every single Jedi that survived Order 66. Who was your favorite Jedi to have survived Order 66? Let us know in the comments. Come join us to chat more at our community Discord server, link.
Alright, so that was every single Jedi that survived Order 66. Now, about 40% of the list was from the games Fallen Order and Survivor. And another like maybe 30% of it was probably from like comics. I did know some of the comics. If you guys haven't checked already, the one where Darth Vader hunts for his Kyber crystal for his lightsaber, check out that comic. In my opinion, that was amazing. But my curiosity was Eth Koth, because technically Eth Koth, wasn't he killed in the third episode, Revenge of the Sith, like when he was with Mace Windu confronting Palpatine? Because he was like the first one stabbed and killed. But I guess there was a comic where he survived, so I don't know which one is canon and which one is Legends. But either way, this was a really great video and a really great list. I say the best one that survived, in my opinion, is... I don't know, it's either Obi-Wan Kenobi or actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with Cal Kestis. Because the reason I'm choosing Cal Kestis is because he's the protagonist of the two games, so if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be playing those two games. I wouldn't have played those two games, and they were amazing. And it also shows like how he progressed afterwards. Like instead of just like bound to just tradition and like the rules of the Jedi, he really expanded, using blasters, using unconventional warfare, and like tapping a little bit into the dark side. So that's what I really like about it. So if I had to choose, I would choose Cal Kestis. Put down in the comments below who was your favorite that survived Order 66. I really would like to hear about them. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please put down a like and a comment below. And also, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did, I really do appreciate that. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.